Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this video entitled 30 Keys to Open Up the Doors of Awakening, How to Rise Vibration. So, the few precision before starting. First of all, I would like to explain you the reason for being of this video, why I want to share this with you. There is two main reasons. The first one is we are living a special period with this virus, coronavirus, and actually this is a delicate period for which one of the first key is to rise your vibration, to struggle against this virus and also to reinforce your immune system. And everything is based on that. To struggle against the virus is already here in the mind. So this is the first objective. The second reason for being is to help you, because there will be after coronavirus as well, is to give you some keys, some elements, some tools to help you to rise your frequencies, because this is a daily work, let's say, and also a pleasure, and it's extremely important to try to implement as soon as possible. Well, few precision before instruction of use of this video. No need to precise, not necessarily need to watch straight away. Okay, it will be something like 1 hour and a half or 2 hours. You can split up, of course. You can watch several times. Maybe you integrate the first steps, and then you come back later and so on. Or let's say you do at your own rhythm. The objective is really that you understand, you integrate, you adhere, of course, you can reject some of them, but just one thing I would like to precise, please don't focus on the form, but more focus on the content. Excuse my French, excuse my accent, I try my best, okay? There is many people, they have accents, okay? So try to make a little effort to decipher what I want to tell you and transmit you. Osho, Krishnamurti, Sadhguru and so on, they have a strong accent and they try to deliver a beautiful message. Okay, so don't be too hard with me, please be tolerant, because this is completely a transmission, it's from the heart, and this is really important to maintain our high vibration. Another point as well is, once again, try to do it at your own rhythm. This is extremely important, this is what I can recommend you. Do it as you want, okay? And once again, there is no necessarily a special method, it's only up to you. Well, I need to precise, because this is the title as well, it's an eternal awakening, okay? Awakening means that you open up. Okay, actually, why I put these pictures is because concretely this is an eternal path. It's not a finality. There is no diploma at the end. There is not a medal that you win and then that's finished, that's over. Never. A real insider, a real wise, illuminated person and so on, enlightened, will never say to you, I'm enlightened. Not at all. Because we can always improve ourselves first, and this is actually the process of awakening is like an exponential. You are flirting with the infinite, and by definition it is impossible to reach the infinity, except probably for nature, but let's say humanly speaking it's impossible. Okay, so this is really important to keep this humble dimension on the fact this is a complete, a long process of your life, probably, a civil life maybe for some people, and the objective is not necessarily to reach a performance, but to, let's say, follow the flow, the natural flow to reach the source. This is extremely important. Let's say, we can also start with a short introduction. Is the fact that no need to precise that what I try to transmit you is subjective. Okay, it's the research I did. This is my own experience. This is a long path of 40 years, and I just want to help you to gain time. This is based on my ethic, Maieutic for the Greek, the ancient Greek philosopher. It is giving some helps, some ways for the people define themselves. Okay, so I'm not saying this is the truth. I just give you some tips, some elements, and then you do by your own. This is extremely important. That's why I mentioned this quote with the great Sufi Rumi, who say the following: "Truth is like a broken mirror for which each of us owns a single piece." Okay, so what I share with you is only a single piece. Okay, so it's up to you then to take whatever you want. To enhance what I just said, this is based on the theory of relativity from the physics. Everything is a question of perception. If I show you, the Rubik's Cube, I will show you, the game. I will show you, maybe you will tell me it's red, and I will tell you it's green, and someone else here will say it's yellow. So what's the color of that? There is 6 colors. So each of us will be partially right, but not completely right. This is really important to keep in mind this point. Another precision, as an introduction before starting, is the methodology. How do we will proceed? It is based on what I baptized tip method. Tip, an advice, of course, but it's a little bit deeper than this. It is based on theory, intuition, and then practice. Theory, we learn from the books, from the tutor, the videos, the teacher, and so on. Practice at the second extreme, we learn, we gather some information, some theory, and we put in practice, okay, in the street life, let's say. And also we can do on the other way around. We can learn by experience, by, let's say, practice, and then theorize that. This is possible as well. It's really up to you. But anyway, the normal process is you learn by the books or by a course, lesson, whatever. Then you put in practice. And with a certain experience, you will develop step by step your intuition. I like intuition. I like also eye of consciousness, eye of higher self. Okay, you follow your own guidance. What is it? If I give an example more down to earth, would be like theory. You learn some recipe for cooking from the books or from a teacher. Okay, then you do in practice. You practice during several years and so on. And after a while, you decide to create your own, because you know more or less the ingredients and so on. You know how to do. You have a certain know-how, experience, and you can make your own recipe. So this is concretely the intuition. The intuition is based on the fact to open up to something else that we will develop, but at least you do by your own. Okay, this is a little bit the principle of spirituality. We can say the religion is the dogma. Okay, this is kind of imposed. There is ritual and so on. It's like, asphalt, the motorway. There is a road, all right, predefined. And then the spirituality is more something like you take your own lead and you build your own, let's say, your own road. Okay, so it's maybe more difficult at the beginning, but actually there is, once again, not only one truth, is only up to you. Well, I give you a vision, which is a kind of insight, but all what we will see is an insight, and concretely it will be not more than 2 hours. All of them, all the chapter, all the, let's say, the 30 keys could be, let's say, 2 hours, one lesson per each of them. Okay, so it's just an insight, an overview for you, a global vision for you to develop, to deepen by your own if you think it's interesting and it's worth it. Okay, so as a vision, as overall vision, I would like to share a kind of syllabus. Of course, this is a little bit a kind of joke, because some people will think, oh, it's a little bit academic, like business school and so on. That's why I put 2 pictures, and it's really up to you. It's a symbol. Either you check the left one, which is structure like PPT presentation, official, and so on, and the second one is more, so it's linked to the left hemisphere, which is square, the physics, the rationality, and so on, and the right hemisphere is linked to literature, art, intuition, and so on. Okay, so the first one is more square, the second one is more round. And if you see the, Da Vinci Vitruvian picture, like manpower, most of the time we associate to that, is a man within a square and a round cycle, sorry. This is a big symbol because it is developing both hemisphere of your brain. And actually, more you're doing that, and the more you are developing here your third eyes, that's to say the intuition, the pineal gland, as we call it. Okay, so just I propose to you, you choose whatever you want, the more poetic, let's say, literature one with the light, enlightening, let's say, the way and so on, to avoid the deluge and the sea and so on, or you prefer the structure. Just one precision as well. During the whole presentation, I decided to be like a small icon. Okay, why? Because the goal is not that you focus necessarily on my gesture and so on. I really want you memorize each idea and each concept with only one or maximum two pictures. Like this, this is a neuro scientific approach, which is to associate an idea with a picture. So you will remember more, let's say, easily. Let's say the information, because it's quite rich in terms of information. So if I can give you a vision, just to show you there is a common thread and also there is a structure in this presentation. Concretely, there is three kind of chapters. So after the introduction, we will see the first one, which is a reconnection internally, okay, inward dimension. So we will see 17 tools. Okay, then the second axis is a reconnection, let's say, externally outward. Okay, so first inward, secondly outward. And the last one, the third one, is a kind of synthesis, okay, which is reconnection innerly and outerly. Okay, externally, internally, which is a notion of resonance. The evolution of myself, within me, okay, has an impact on the outside, and the outside has an impact of myself, okay? Basic example, the fear that we have for the coronavirus is maintained by the whole sum of individualities on this planet, and in parallel, it is enhanced and it is increased by the media, and the media increase the individuality. And the individuality increase the globality, and so on. You understand this notion of resonance. All right. So, just also as a precision before starting, I just would like for you to understand the objective is absolutely not that you think I'm showing off and so on. Not at all, please. There is no egotic dimension. I'm not looking for shining, okay, but let's say to try to enlighten you, okay, enlighten people to find their own way, or ways, it can be a plural. But you understand, this is not, I'm not a finality, I'm just trying to transmit. I could be, personally, I'm in harmony, I could just not doing it, no. The objective is that you find your own way and you reach at a certain point the eternal path of awakening. Well, again, in the introduction, two main ideas before starting. The first one is extremely important, that you integrate the fact that everything is energy. All right? I will quote three scientists, but everything is energy, even you are made of energy. If we see let's say the focus, if we take a focus, okay, with the micro vision, you will see only waves of information, okay, not more, not less. It means that even you have the feeling that your body is some matter, okay, is tangible. This is a matter of fact, if I can afford. This gong it is, this plant as well, and so on. It's true, but at the end, in the subatomic part, vision scale, it is pure energy. Okay, so concretely, there is 4% of, in the physics, you have 4% of, let's say, matter, okay, visible matter. 27% of dark matter that you cannot see. It's invisible. And 67% of dark energy. So concretely, you know, Saint Thomas said, I only believe in what I can see. Concretely, he would believe in 4% of the reality, because the rest we cannot see, but it is full of information. And this is science. It's not a dogma, it's not spiritual, it's not a law. No, it is science. This is really important. And even within the 4% of, let's say, the matter, we cannot see everything. We only see a very, like, you know, from the keyhole of a door. Why? Because we only see the 7 colors of the rainbow. The rest, infrared, ultraviolet, or even the radar, Wi-Fi and so on, electricity, you cannot see them, but they exist. Okay, so let's see 3 main quotes before starting. The first one is from Tesla. Nikola Tesla, a great scientist from the previous century, said the following: if you want to know, to find the secret of the universe, things in terms of frequencies, energies, and vibration. Okay, so we're gonna try to see and to find the secret of the universe through the vibration and energy, basically. The second one is from Einstein, okay, Nobel Prize and very known. What we call matter is energy whose vibration has been greatly reduced to be perceptible to your senses. Concretely, this is only some density of vibration reduced, let's say a lot, for being perceptible to your senses, your eyes, your hands, and so on. Okay, but it's not more, let's say, real than something that you cannot see, like the radar waves, the radio wave, FM, free wave, LW, low wave, and so on, is existing as well, is full of information, is information. Okay, so the third quote I wanted to share with you is still from again from Einstein, who said the following: everything is energy, and that's it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot not getting it. It cannot be otherwise. It's not philosophy, it is science. What does it mean? Especially the focus on match the frequency of the reality you want, and you will get it. What does it mean? It means that if you vibrate with a certain scenario, your mind, you are co-creating, or you are shifting to this reality, meaning thereby that probably, I'm saying is supposition, the scientists are talking about the multiverse. It means we have a universe here. A multiverse would be different scenarios that they are not, let's say, tangling, so they are independent, but maybe that we shift. And according to our mind, there is a special scenario. Well, another point I wanted to share with you before starting is the notion of mirror. Okay, I'm always saying that we are mirrors for which, by reflecting, we inspired us, each other, mutually, infinitely. Okay, we are reflection, mirrors. You are a mirror, I am a mirror, and we are reflecting. Okay, reflecting means the image, and also thinking. Okay, and it's like an improvement and also an enlargement of the consciousness. The second one is from Rumi, a great Sufi, who say that this is what I said before, and the truth is like a broken mirror for which everybody take a fragment and say that the whole truth is there. Okay. The last one is from a Jewish mystic, Baal Shem Tov. Rumi is a Sufi, is a Muslim Sufi, and Baal Shem Tov is a Jewish mystic. He said, the man next to you is your mirror. If your own face is pure, the image you perceive will also be perfect. On the other way around, if you see a defect in the man next to you, it is your own imperfection that you discover. It's you, it is showing you what you need to improve yourself. You see? So this is really important to take into account these key elements. Well, so let's start with the first key. Okay, so the first one is to have a positive mind. Okay, you know, in the law of attraction, what is it concretely? It means that the Buddha said, we are what we think. Okay, I told you, everything is energy. Even your thoughts are energy. Okay, so your emotions are energy. Emotion. Okay, emotion. Okay, you can split E like E equal mc2. Okay, m mass, c is celerity. It means the speed squared. Okay, so concretely, this is the formula from Einstein or Poincaré, if we are purists. But let's say it is an emotion is concretely, an emotion is some energy in movement, motion. Okay, so you think, you love, you hate, and so on, and there is an impact, and you can visualize that. The scientists, if they put some electrodes on your brain, they will feel this vibration, and they can, let's say, encode more or less. Okay, so this is important to take into account that we are magnets. Okay, magnetism is that, magnets. So we attract what we think, what we vibrate. Okay, so if we are always negative, we will attract negativity, negative people, negative event, and so on. On the other way around, if we break this, if we are positive, we will attract positive things in our life. Well, another point, actually, this is linked to what I said, is another point I wanted to mention within this first axis, this first key, is an experience which has been done by Masaru Emoto by crystallizing. He crystallized some water, okay, with an effect on them. Okay, so he used the test, as you can see, with a glass of water, and he emitted some positive waves, like I love you, oh, you're sweet, and so on. Nice things. And the second one, he say on the other end, negative thing, I hate you, I kill you, and so on. And he just realized that by crystallizing, he observed with a microscope, and he saw exactly that. The positive things are like, beautiful, harmonious shape, and on the other end is completely disharmonious. You can do the test. There is many ways that you can find on the internet with rice, water plus rice. You do the test. On the negative part, you will see your rice will be black, all right? And so you can imagine just one thing. We are made of 70% of water. Our body is made of 70% of water. So you can imagine that every time you're negative, you say, oh, fuck, and so on, I hate you, and so on. Or even you see your face the morning, in the morning on the mirror, you say, oh, what, ugly, and so on. It's not the same vibration, and you are, let's say, completely infusing this bad energy. On the other way around, if you accept yourself and you are positive and you are vibrating well, people don't know why, but they like your company. They feel you as charismatic or charming, not charming in the sense that the criteria of beautiness imposed by the society is not this. It's something, let's say, more, deeper and unconsciously. Okay, she's not necessarily beautiful, he's not necessarily beautiful, but I don't know why, I like his waves, he's radiating, And you can see that when, for example, you're in love with someone, you have like butterflies in the eyes, and you're like literally flying, all right? So you are light, even this in the semantic, in the language, what we call the language of bird, you can hear in English, light is the light, as I have the sun of my face, because I'm using this energy of the nature, I started and it was almost rising, and we will see during the whole video that it is rising up. Okay, so, but basically what I mean thereby is the fact that is important to see the light as light, let's say weightlessness. Okay, weightlessness, sorry. So it means it's not heavy. On the other way around, when you have some matter, matter is some problems and also is materiality. Okay, so it's low, is density and low frequencies. On the other way around, if you are light and lightened and so on, you're, almost flying. Okay, that's why we make this parallel with the heaven, always in the sky, in the clouds. Why? Because of that. Okay, the ascension of Jesus, of some in the myth. What is it? It's not necessarily they go in the sky. It is because they enlighten and they are lighter. That's basic. Okay, so this is extremely important that you understand this first key. The second one, the second key is the following, is the gratitude. Gratitude, concretely, what is it? Is to thank. Okay, you can say to me, thanking whoever, life, your parents, destiny, events, whatever. But to be in the process of thank you for the beautiful landscape, thank you for this moment, I feel good, thank you for this beautiful light, thank you for, I don't know, the food you have and so on. Always thinking is extremely important. Thinking also for example, for your body. You can walk. Some people cannot. Okay, even these people, most of the time, they are really example of life because of let's say they're brave. They remind you that you are really lucky. You have some conferences of guys they don't have arms, they don't have legs, and so on, and they are super dynamic. They are positive. They are in a great. They are grateful, and so on. This is really an example of life for me. So this is important to thank and to be grateful for what you have, your body and so on, your life. It could be always worse, okay? And you know, basically, happiness is not necessarily to get what you want, but to be happy, I mean, to be satisfied with what you have. Doesn't mean that necessarily you will not have some corrective action, but you can improve yourself. We can always improve ourselves. But what is important is that you, let's say that you just realize that you are lucky. Okay, you don't live in a war period. You don't have a big disease. You're not on a bed and so on. Maybe some of you are, but even in that case, you are breathing. That is a miracle. It's a little bit extreme, maybe you will think, but I think it's really important because it's generating some good atmosphere around you and towards other people. All right, key 3 is thought management. What does it mean? Actually, it's very important not to be thought, but to think actively, not passively, actively. This is the basis of the mindfulness. Okay, mindfulness, concretely, what is it? It is to be absorbed by the present time, the present moment, the present, which is a gift. Okay, most of the time, 95% of the time, in our, let's say, busy society, we are never in the present time, in the present moment. Most of the time we are automatic pilots, and the proof is it's happened to everybody that you say, did I do this or not? And you don't remember because you don't have the picture. You are not absorbed. You are thinking about something else. You are thinking about your memories from far or from yesterday, the party you went and so on. Or you are thinking about the meal you will prepare. You think about the meeting you will have and so on. But you are not in the present moment. The mindfulness is extremely important because it activates and it allows you to be connected to what we call the presence. The presence, okay? Not the present, the present, the presence. The presence is concretely a kind of energy which is behind of you, okay? This is what we will see at the end, the 5th elements, the chi, the prana, the ether from the Greek and so on. And there is a substance, the quintessence, as we call it, and which is entangling, interconnecting everybody. Okay, so if you are, otherwise, when you are overthinking, you are like a full sponge. How you want to, let's say, to sponge some more information if you are already completely full? Okay, so you understand the point, I imagine. So this is extremely important to keep in mind this, and also because you will see it, the more you are doing that, and the more is developing some little miracles. Okay, present is, you can hear pre-sent. It has been previously sent. Okay, so I will not enter in this this deep and quite philosophic dimension because it's I used to do it in the past for different other conference or videos, but here is not the point. But what I try to tell you that there is something else allowing you to have more synchronicities. That's to say, you are more aware about what's going on around you and so on. And there is a kind of, let's say, subtle communication with things, with nature and so on. This is it is really priceless. Once you activate that, because it's kind of gymnastics, it's really, really great. And let's say that actually everybody can do it, of course, and it's a question of exercise. The key, the second key is, the fourth key is compassion and forgiveness. Why? Because it's very important in a process of awakening. You are full of matter, you are full of aggressivity, gravity. If you keep, some bad energy from the past, be in peace with your past, with yourself, with people in general. You can have trauma, you can have been a victim of horrible things, injustice and so on. Yeah, most of us is the same case. But if you keep it, it's negative for yourself, for your evolution. Okay? So, to be forgiveness doesn't mean to forget. Okay? But it is really important to unlight. That's why in this picture, because light plus you are flying afterwards. Okay? And you discharge your bad energy concretely. This is the principle when some people go to a bar and ask to the bartender, I want 2 glasses, one for you, one for me. And they're just talking. I'm not taking alcohol, but you understand the principle. And they're just talking. And the bartender just listen. He doesn't necessarily talk. But what is the process? Is the same process than in the psychoanalysis. Okay? You just discharge your bad energy, bad emotion. And thanks to that, you release. But the fact to forgive allows you to go further, okay, in your process. There is one thing very interesting in the Jewish culture that we call, this is a celebration, this is Yom Kippur. In Hebrew, what does it mean? Yom means the day and Kippur means purification. A lot of people say is the day of forgiveness. Yeah, it is. But concretely, etymologically speaking, it is the day of purification. Why? What is the principle? Simple, but very symbolic. Someone did something wrong or bad to you. Okay? So he asks or she asks you this special D-Day. She do apologize. Okay? And the process of purification, normally, you cannot refuse. I mean, you can, of course. You're not. You don't have a gun. But the process is that this is the day for going to release and to go to a higher level in a certain extent. So someone is proposing do apologize. You accept. You're purified by accepting, and the person is purified as well. This is very important process because there is wars in the world for decades, and every camps in a certain extent have good, bad reason, in quote mark, good, bad reasons to maintain, because they have both sides, deaf people, okay, and they have pain and blood and so on. So they have their own vision of the spectrum, of the reality, and they think they are in the good way, but both sides actually are in the good way for themselves, you understand? So we can keep always the notion of revenge, and but at the end of the day, we are losing time, we are losing energy, and sometimes it is definitely better to forgive, to go further. It doesn't mean that you're obliged to love your enemy, not necessarily, but at least to release yourself and to improve yourself. This is extremely important process. The key 5 is the empathy. What is empathy? A key word that's and a key concept that I recommend for a long time, for 15 years. I'm talking about that, and I say it should be taught at school, okay, primary school. And you know why? 15 years I'm saying that. And let's say 5 or 6 years ago, or a bit more, 6 years ago, I think in 2014, in Belgium, and also in Denmark, they propose this to the students. What is it concretely? Empathy is the capacity to integrate, so you project your consciousness into the integrated system of thoughts, of thinking of a person, okay? And it allows you to understand why he or she is acting like this. You integrate all parameters, you know, like a computer with all filters, okay, social, educative, cultural, and so on and so forth. And you understand better why he's acting or she's acting like this. You know, there is, for example, a study regarding some dictator, Stalin, Gaddafi, Hitler, and so on. All of them, they have been traumatized in their childhood. Okay, and I'm not saying that we can excuse, this is not the point, but at least we can understand, I mean, partially why they act like this. They are traumatized, they are psychopaths, basically. And all of them were like this, okay? So the roots of the bad things are never innocent in a certain extent. So it allows more tolerance. And I swear to you that in the future, if we set up this everywhere in the world, I'm pretty sure that the world would be better and higher frequencies tomorrow, okay? Because we could understand that we don't understand each other, okay? Understanding that we don't understand, okay? It doesn't mean that you need to adhere to his culture, her culture, a mind, a vision, and so on. No, but at least you are tolerant because you respect that. So this is, for me, a very important key, the empathy. The key 6 is to have a balanced life, okay? So a balanced life, concretely, this is in Chinese philosophy, Buddhist and so on, Taoism, Buddhism, this is concretely to avoid the extremes, okay? Excess makes less, okay? Extreme is never good, okay? The good balance is important, okay? This is what we call the middle path, the middle way, all right? If you are too much in, I don't know, healthy stuff, you have a lot of chance to become a little bit bitter because you're not happy anymore. You are like in a process of struggling, and it's not necessarily positive. Same if you are always, practicing religion all the time you don't see your family and so on. It's not the goal. Life is here, down to earth. I'm not judging if people think it's good for them, this is good for them, but maybe the good balance. If you are too much in your work, this is positive or negative? I don't know, but maybe it's a question of balance. Maybe you have a lack of, affection with your family, or you don't have, basically, so you compensate with your work, okay? So you overwork and so on, you are working like a modern slave, even if you are the boss of your company, you are working 12 hours, 15 hours and so on, till sometimes the burnout, okay? So, and then actually on the other way around, if you don't have a good job, maybe you compensate with only focusing on your personal life, which is same, not really balanced, okay? For professional life, what is important is to find the job that you like and you will never have to work a single day. This is philosophy for Confucius, the wisdom from China. And this is extremely important to have this kind of balance. Doesn't mean necessarily that you reject, for example, personally I don't drink, but some people drink, that's fine. If they drink a couple of glass the weekend and so on, they celebrate, they relax, they enjoy, and so that's fine. If they drink every day and they are alcoholic, okay, so there is a problem for that. But it doesn't mean that they have to renounce to everything. It's the same for food, we will see after, but if they love junk food, it's fine. If they do it sometimes once a week, they go to fast food and then they eat healthy and so on. It is a good balance is also that to be in harmony in what you do and your behavior in general. Okay? The seventh key is meditation. Meditation. It comes from the Latin medium. Medium means to sing. Vehicle, okay, a way, a channel, okay. That's why your medium is channeling. It means that it download is connected to the upper world and is akasha, as we say in Hinduism, or collective unthinking, okay, in psychoanalysis. But concretely, this is the first axis. And medium means also center, coming back to the center, okay? Most of the philosophy, all the esoteric part, are talking about that. To find the awakening, it's always an inward process. Okay, going back to the center doesn't mean navel gazing, not at all. It means that you clean up. You think about your let's say your weaknesses and your strength, and you try to clean up, okay, your negativity and so on, and you try to improve. But let's say, and to be in peace with your past and what we saw with the forgiveness. But concretely, everything is inward. So coming back to the center. And coming back to the center for what? For contemplating. Contemplate, you have temple inside, okay? The word is contemplate. It means the inner temple. And once you open up to this dimension, because you clean up inside, you open up. And that's why I organized with 3 chapters, inward, outward, sorry, and then resonance, both sides. Because once you open up, you're in peace with yourself, you're in peace afterwards with the world, and so on. There is a second work. Okay, but concretely, meditation allows you that. Create this picture with the Wi-Fi, because it's a kind of Wi-Fi. You have consciousness, you have unconsciousness, okay, which is, for example, who is thinking about breathing when you're sleeping, okay? The automatic pilot is your unconsciousness, okay? Unconscious part, all right? So, and then there is a higher stuff, which is the collective unthinking, or collective unconsciousness, okay, or unconscious. Okay, so concretely, if you want an analogy with internet, it would be your computer is your consciousness. Okay, you emit, and you receive some information. Okay, the second one is your Wi-Fi could be associated to your unconsciousness. Okay, your way of capting, okay, getting, okay, so capability to get some information. Your Wi-Fi basically, and then the third axis, the akasha, the collective unthinking and consciousness, would be the cloud, okay, internet. And internet would be all this, okay? Concretely, it is like a cloud, and then you download some information regarding to your connection. It's a question of connection. Actually, meditation allows you that. It's not here a course of meditation. I propose a course of, a lesson of 5 hours, not 5 hours straight away, but to explain the ins, the outs. There is 5 schools of meditation. For people find their own one, which is more vibrating within themselves, vipassana, mindfulness, zazen, and so on. But concretely, amongst the 5 schools, there is non-thinking and visualization. Okay, I visualize a ball of light. Okay, or unthinking would be I try to empty myself. Okay, because what is subtle is that emptiness bring you fullness. You see, so it is very subtle but extremely important. Okay, so concretely, it's activating also. So when you're not thinking, you are receiving some information. That's why you develop your intuition. That's why you can catch. Create comes from Latin. Creare means to pick up. To pick up from the tree of, let's say, ideas. Plato, the philosopher Greek, talk about the world of the Plato world of ideas. Okay, so it's like a cloud, and then you pick up a tree of ideas, and you pick up, and creating is that. All right, so this is important. And another point more on the neuroscience basis, meditation allows the good connections. That's why I put this kind of network of your brain in between the synapse, the neurons and the synapse. Okay, 2 neurons, a connection is the electricity in between both, and this is when you're activating, let's say, thoughts, or you discover something. Okay, discover, you uncover. It means you take out the cover. It means that it was previously there. potentially. Okay, that's really important. But concretely, you can imagine that if a lot of companies nowadays are promoting like Deutsche Bank, Google, and so on, it means that it brings a lot. Okay, and in addition of that, if most of the culture have meditation, it's probably for a good reason. It probably because it is essential. Personally, I think it's like a physiological needs. I can fast, I can stop to eat, but I cannot stop meditate. Because when I do it on the morning, it can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, no need long, but when I do 20 minutes or half an hour in the morning and then the evening as well, I feel so good. I feel, let's say, my brain is bright, is clear, you know, is sharp. Okay, the vision is sharp, the mind, and you are more, let's say, calm. You are more receptive to people, to the environment, the world, and so on. So this is something extremely important. I really invite you to dig a little bit in it because it's worth it. Definitely, it changed your life. Personally, I started to meditate 20 years ago, and it changed radically my life. Key 8. It is energy food. So what is it concretely? Energy food. You have different things. So Leonardo da Vinci said, if you want to have a good diet, healthy diet, follow this one. Eat only with will. What does it mean? When you like something, you assimilate differently. Okay, there is an harmony and you assimilate differently. That's why this is what we call, the American scientists discovered the French paradox, because they just check and they say, why the French cuisine is very fat. Why they are not so fat and they don't have a heart problem. And actually they discover that the French people, they used to eat with a certain, let's say, atmosphere, happiness and so on, and then the assimilation was different. Okay, so we usually in nutrition recommend at least 5 vegetables and fruits every day. Why? Because it's full of 2 things: nutrients and enzyme. Nutrients, concretely, this is the, let's say, the nutritional intakes. This is what brings you some energy officially. And enzyme, it is cleaning your body, which is extremely important. You know, Hippocrates, the father of medicine, of doctors, in ancient Greek, say the following: natural force within us are the true healers of disease. Okay, so the way you eat, the way you're healthy, and also your mind, your happiness, and so on, your vibration higher, and so on. So nutrients bring you energy, enzyme clean up, natural cleansing, and this is really good for health. Organic. Okay, of course, some people will think it's 20-30% more expensive. It's a matter of fact, it's true. But let's say that as it is more qualitative, you don't need to eat so much in proportion. Your portions are reduced, probably something like 20-30%. So you balance the price, actually, and it's almost the same amount of money. And why it is important? Because yeah, it's rich in terms of nutrients, that's why. Okay, and there is no poisoned extra stuff like yeah, you know, added stuff which is not good for health. This is extremely important. Fresh food, sometimes try to change, but also some fresh food. Why? Because this is living product. Okay, they are not. When you warm up, actually, it's breaking. Upper 43 degrees Celsius, it is bringing most of the molecules. So you destroyed a lot of nutrients. That's why we recommend to use sometimes either to cook at 43 degrees under, or to eat some salad and so on, because it's bringing you much more. It doesn't mean every day, but at least sometimes. To avoid meat. Meat is not, it's a lot of pollution. For example, a steak of 1 kilo, you need 10,000 liters of water. Okay, so it's not, if everybody is eating meat like in States or in Northern America, we need more than 5 planets like ours. So concretely, it's not very good for health. And secondly, is not, let's say it's not eco-friendly. All right, so if you can afford to reduce at least, let's say 2 or 3 times maximum per week, because it's not good for health. You know, the paradox of eating, you need half of the food to half of the food is taken for the digestion. Okay, so and meat needs a lot of it. Okay, so concretely, the process of getting older is more activating through the food. That's why a lot of people who are veg or vegetarian, they are less. I mean, they look younger and the body are in better states. Of course, it doesn't mean this is the truth. It is depending on each metabolism. Each body is different, but we recommend in nutrition to avoid, let's say, an excess of meat every day is not really good, and especially red meat. And if you really cannot afford, if you want, it's better to eat some organic food, or at least with a respect of life. You know, I'm vegetarian personally, but I went to different places, and especially with shamans in Mongolia. The shaman explained before killing an animal to the soul and so on, you need that, okay? So there is a respect, that's why the process of kasharut for Jewish or halal for Muslim, it is a question of respecting the animals. And if not, you're eating some bad vibration. Imagine you kill an animal and he's afraid and he's terrible, let's say, environment, you can be sure then you are eating some fear and some low frequencies. So I really recommend to try to avoid meat, I mean maximum, or if you cannot afford, to reduce, and at least to eat better quality of meat, respecting the process of life. If you can afford as well to avoid, it doesn't mean necessarily to throw away everything, but refined product, industrial product, you know, full of sugar. Most of them, they don't have nutrients, okay? They don't have enzymes. So it's one in, one out, okay? So it's good for taste. Okay, you are a little bit boosted with the refined sugar, but even sugar, refined sugar, you can find sugar in fructose, in the fruits and so on. It's good for health, but the refined sugar, as we have too much in our food in general, especially, you know, the prepared meal and so on. Most of the time they are full of sugar, and the sugar causes 10 millions of deaths every year due to the diabetes. Okay, so this is extremely important to try to reduce and to avoid a maximum. Well, the key 9 is to move your body. Move your body is, health is a question of circulation of the energy. Okay, this is what the Ayurvedic philosophy, Ayurveda in Sanskrit in India means, it means the science of life. It's the same for the traditional medicine in China. Concretely, the circulation of the energy is important. Most of the time, disease is, okay, unbalance means that you don't have a good fluidity of your energy. Okay, that's why you have the chakra, you have the meridians, and so on. But let's say that is extremely important. Otherwise, you know, it's like some water, you know, some stagnating water. It smells bad. It's full of bacteria. It's bring a lot of, it's green and so on. It's the same for your body. If there is no circulation of your body, is getting older and it start to be stuck. Okay, so we recommend every day, minimum 5 or 10 minutes per day. You know, you just stretch, not necessarily to do bodybuilding, to be a Schwarzenegger, not at all. It's just to wake up. You wake up, you take a coffee, but it's the same. You wake up your body, you do some basic stretch, you know, your back and so on. Your back, sorry. and actually, so even that, so just basically you're gonna think, yeah, but I don't have time in the morning. 5 or 10 minutes, and 5 or 10 minutes meditation is maximum 20 minutes. Okay, you wake up 20 minutes earlier, but you will see it is going forward to jump better. Your all day will be definitely better than without. Okay, personally, I definitely prefer to sleep 30 minutes less, but at least to do my exercise and also meditation, because it's really a guarantee for me to have an amazing day. Just also basic things, move your body, sports brings you some endorphins. Endorphins are one of the 5 hormones of happiness, so that's why it's really important. All right, so key 10, massage. So you're gonna tell me, it's nice, but I'm single, I don't have a partner, and so on. Okay, fine. That's why I put this picture, because a massage could be with friends also, can be also by your own. This is what we call reflexology. I was talking about the notion of circulation of energy, right? It's the same principle. Actually, doing massage is like acupuncture. Acupuncture is touching some strategical point. Meridians is like, some roads, and to avoid it is, let's say, busy, or there is, I don't know, a dam and so on. It is to release. And by the way, you can feel it when it's there is tension. You just press, and then is discharge. So it's good to have a friend at least to do it, or a partner is even better. But let's say that if you don't, I invite you to do some research on internet regarding reflexology. Concretely, you have your foot, which is here, and some different points, like here could be the liver, this could be the kidney, here could be the stomach, and so on. And actually, this has a resonance on your whole body. This is extremely important. It is fascinating science that we have from Chinese traditional medicines for, let's say, centuries. It is working super well. So, if you have a partner, if you have a wife or a husband or whoever, just a partner, it is very good as well, because the fact to give, the fact to receive, is establishing something. It is at the extreme, in quote mark. This is what we call Tantra. Tantrism is the art of doing massage, of love as well. Kama Sutra is that, for the Hindus. It's not taboo, it's not bad, and so on. No, it's life, basically. How do you come? Have you been created like this? Okay, so it's sensuality. It allows you, for example, so to release some stress, or some problems of, for example, erection, or basically some feminine problem, and so on. And it allows you to have more fluidity in your body, and to have better sexual experience, complicity, and so on. So it's extremely important to take this kind of time of massage. This is not necessarily always finishing by sexuality, not at all. It can be also just for pleasure, for the pleasure to give to the other, the pleasure to receive, and to visualize how your body feel released and relaxed, and your energy is flowing definitely better. So one of the best, this is one of the important key as well. Key 11 is cleansing. So cleansing, basically, it means there is different ways. You have, for example, fasting. Fasting, what is it concretely? There is several kinds of fasting. Dry, without water, with water, humid one, or you can also have some tea, you can have some smoothie or some juice, and so on. But let's consider the humid one, only pure water. So it is very important, in most of the place in the world, you have 1 day off, right, per week. To have 1 day off of eating. Why? Because it's good for health. Okay, we are in the hyper-consumption society, and we recommend to eat 3 times a day, and so on, and a lot, and so on, and increase by 1 get 1 free, and so on, all this kind of thing. We maybe eat too much, and personally I eat 4 or maximum 8 times a week. Okay, so you can understand that, and I don't feel weak. And I'm not forcing myself. It's not to do a Guinness Book record to say, he's strong, he doesn't know. It's only because I follow my own metabolism, my own rhythm. Okay, but personally, I do minimum once a month, 3 days, 72 hours fasting. For example, you stop eating Sunday night, 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and you start back Wednesday night, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Okay, it can be 24 hours, okay, from Saturday night till Sunday night, and you will see, because 24 hours is already good, huh? But 3 days, actually, I invite you, of course, to double check with your doctor, because this is not, let's say, according to certain metabolism, sometimes it cannot be good for you. You could not afford. So the goal is not to put you in danger. The goal is your health, okay, and to rise your vibration. But let's say 3 days normally. The third days, and this is something that the Indians are doing for centuries, and even the Russians, they are doing that for decades from the USSR, and actually it's boost your immune system. It completely reboosted your white cells and so on. So you're stronger for virus, for all kind of disease. And secondly, your immune system is completely cleaned. Okay, it's why? Because it's like desktop, you know, it's cleansing. Okay, it's cleaning up, and actually it allows to take out some fecal matter that you have, like, you know, pipes. You know, pipes sometimes is like a drawer. It's full of fecal matter, and it's obstruct the good flow, okay, of your digestion and so on. So you will feel it after 3 days. Your eyes, I mean, your view is better, your skin is better, your mind is sharp, is more, let's say, is more connected, is faster, and so on. Okay, so it's really. Concretely is really important, and I really invite you to do the test, because the results most of the time is really tremendous. Well, so this is a point for cleansing, for fasting. Actually, you have also a notion of to try to do a cure. I do it once each season of sulfate of magnesium, sulfate of sodium, same as to your doctor, but concretely it is disgusting for the taste. It's some powder you can buy everywhere. It's Epsom salt as well, called, and actually it's clean. It's cleansing. Actually, you establish a proximity with your toilet during 1 hour. Don't take that before going out, of course, but so you go 5 or 6 times to toilets, and then you clean up everything. You take it out, all the you know, the digestive system, the wisdom everywhere on the planet talk about the second brain. The first one is here, the heart, and here is the stomach, is your digestive system, and it is linked. Many things are linked after that. Very important, for instance, is to use hot water, because it's take it out. Sweating allows you to take it out some toxins. Okay, to detoxifying. Another one is to use sauna. Okay, dry, high temperature, like 100 degrees. Or you have another one, steam room, that we call in Arabic hammam. Okay, so it is more 55 degrees, 60 degrees with a high humidity, and it allows you to take it out the toxin. This is excellent for health. And another one for cleansing is more psychological, is the deconnection sometimes to social media, mobile, and so on. It's good sometimes you day, okay, one day, I don't know, Sunday, I switch off, okay, plane mode, and you're released, okay, or you say, okay, I don't take my mobile, I switch off because I go to forest for 2 hours, and I just enjoy, and it's not big deal if there is a tweet that I don't see, breaking news and so on. It's not a big deal, okay. A lot of people are addicted to their mobile, their social media, and so on. This is a good servant, but a bad master, and I will say to you that for money and also for ego as well. Bad servant, good master. Bad master, sorry, good servant. Okay, it is a tool, it's not a finality. It's very important to keep in mind that. Key 12, the audio frequencies, the sound therapy. What is it concretely? The sound impact the matter. This is what we call cymatics. This is the downstairs, the effect of the sound on the sound, the sound on the sound. Okay, it creates some design. You can check on internet by your own, but concretely, if you are not, you're a little bit skeptical. If you sing very high, okay, oh, you can break a glass, a crystal, for instance. Paf! All right. It is an impact. This is a frequency, and it is impacting. You have 7. That's why I put this picture, this parallel. You have 7 notes of music. You have 7 color of the rainbow. Okay, both of them are corresponding to some frequencies that we can measure with Hertz, system of Hertz, okay? Infrared, the red maybe is 550 something Hertz, and so on, okay? So, but my point is that we have 7 chakra, 7 colors, 7 notes. Concretely, when you hear some music, is activate your chakra. Your chakra concretely in Sanskrit means will. Okay, it is like a skin of thumb. Okay, vibrating. You cannot see, but it's some vibration. Okay, so corresponding to different part. Here, the sex is red. It is vitality. Okay, concretely, the vitality. Then here is orange. This is the assimilation, the link in between the outer world and the inward. Yellow is the emotions. Okay, the solar plexus. Here, heart is green is emotion, reception, emission. Here is communication. That's why I took, well, you cannot see, but it's blue. And for communication, good emission, good reception. I can listen people, I can transmit a better message for the form or the content. Here is the violet one, is the third eye, the pineal gland. This is intuition, okay, in between your left and right hemisphere, which is linked to global vision. This is more subtle, third eye you cannot see, but this is, you know, when you have the image of REM, when you sleep, rapid eye movement, it is from here, okay, and you can do the test when you start to sleep. The images are coming from here. And then you have the crowd. The crowd, that's why you can see the saints on the paintings, or even the Buddha and so on. He always have an aureole. Aureole means that. It means the notion of the 7th chakra. Okay, it is the connection. So the 6 first one are inward, and the 7th one is the link to the outer world, to the invisible world, Akasha, the ether, and so on. Okay, so understand that once you listen to music, it is a kind of massage of your subtle bodies. Okay, this is important to know. You can have a lot on YouTube, wherever, some good frequencies that you can hear for meditation. A good frequency, you have different ones. You have what we call harmonic, and this is what we call also solfeggio waves. Okay, the more known is 432 Hertz. Okay, why? Because most of what we listen, like Rihanna, whatever the popular music is 440 Hertz. It's coming from the Second World War, and it's very bad. It's disharmonious. It is non-organic sound. So it affects your mind, your unconsciousness, and it creates stress and so on. We should convert. There is converters. Personally, I'm doing all my music like this. Converter. Jeff, if I'm not saying wrong, Jeff Buckley did that. Not Jeff Buckley. Is well, I don't remember his name. He wrote. He's singing Hallelujah, reconverted in 432. Yeah, I think it's Jeff Buckley. Well, anyway, you understand the point. And we should convert all of them because it is organic sound. It is more harmonious for your body and so on. Then you have 400, 532 and so on. You have different ones. The most known is from the classic music is Pachelbel canon. This is extremely important. This is very good. This is the more activating your whole bodies and so on is good for health, for the mind, the vibration, and so on. But I invite you to do some research regarding this point, because it is first very interesting, and for me it is one of the most important therapy of the future. Key 13, regain the inner child vision eyes. So this is the first of cover I did 5 years ago for Christmas, because I wrote a book for my nephews. And concretely, what is it? This is me as a kid, and actually this is the inner child. I see most of the esoteric branch are talking about this inner child. The inner child is your capacity to marvel at life, wow, you know, and to be connected to the magnificence of life, the majestic dimension of the magic life, you know, and they believe in unlimited dimension. You see, they believe in the invisible world and so on. When you observe kids playing, everything is a playground. Okay, for instance, they want to pay. Ah, it's me, mommy, it's me who paying the cashier. Okay, go ahead. And they are so happy, you know. Or, for instance, they want to open up the door of the subway, and for them it's incredibly funny and so on. When I take my scooter, electric scooter, I'm like, you know, because I didn't have when I was teenager, but I have a pleasure. When you drive, you can think it's like karting and so on. So everything is a pretext for the kids. When you keep this in mind, your vision of inner child, you reactivate all these dimensions, and life becomes a miracle. And also it is most subtle, you know. Even in the Bible it's written, it's Matthew 19:14, he say, approximated translation is saying, I mean, supposedly Jesus saying, don't let the little child coming to me. The kingdom of heaven is for those who are looking like them. Okay, so concretely, if your vibration are the same than the kids, candid, let's say nice, tolerant, and so on, your vibration are higher. Okay, but actually, and this is a triptych. Triptych means 3 chapters. The inner child reactivated within you as an adult. The adult is more the structure, the roles, this is important as well, this is the action. And the third one, this is what I baptized the concept of childhood presage. Okay, what does it mean? Child, adult, sage. Okay, sage wisdom. Okay, so presage because it's a presage, and also because it is in process. It's never a sage. Nobody say I'm sage, I'm wise. Okay, so it's a continuous process. But what I mean thereby is the kid is the imagination, the dreams. Okay, the unlimited dimension. The adult is the roles, the structure, the action, and the wise in progress is the detachment, is an experience, is a tolerance, is harmonious. Okay, so it's important to reactivate these 3 dimensions within yourself. Key 14, repeat affirmation is a kind of mantra. Okay, so it allows you to, this is what we call auto-suggestion, let's say repetition. It is Coe method, is a French psychoanalysis and psychologue, sorry, and actually it allows you to give for your unconsciousness infuse some information. If you repeat all the time, I feel good, I feel good, I feel good. More seriously, I feel good, I feel good, I feel better, I feel harmonious, and so on, or harmony, this kind of thing, you vibrate and you put some connection in your brain. If all the time you are saying, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck, you know, you activate also on the other way around that, and you're actually your let's say your roads of your neurons and are always the same. So that's why it's important to break this dynamic and to repeat clear objective or messages this all the day long, because it will bring you a lot. The key for 15 is to set some positive intention before sleeping. So what I recommend before sleeping, just before, you just thank, okay, you are grateful for the, let's say, 4 or 3 key points of the day. Thank you, because it's happened me, this, I learned that, I could improve like this, as a feedback. And in addition, you're established for, let's say, giving some work to your unconsciousness for your night. Concretely, you give some, let's say, 2 or 3 objectives, okay? And you visualize, for example, thank you for tomorrow. I have an amazing meeting with my colleagues and so on, or everything is smooth with my family. If, I don't know, there is a kind of tension and so on. And you visualize. And then it's not more than 2 minutes. Huh? And then you repeat just a few times. Thank you. You always talk to present time, okay? Because, and never negative. Okay, thank you not to be afraid, no. Thank you to be in harmony, for instance, is very important. No negative way. So, and then you let the work doing, you know, it's like when you learn, when you're a kid, you learn poesy or whatever, before sleeping, you repeat, it's infusing in your consciousness. So this is a very important action. Key 16 is laughing. You know, like the Buddha, huh? The Buddha is laughing. It is creating endorphins as well. It's good for vibration. You can watch some movies, sometimes a little bit stupid, but we don't care. The goal is to laugh, okay? Or to some jokes, you read some jokes, or you watch some, let's say, funny stuff. Or you force yourself, you know, it's a therapy, huh? To force yourself. So, for example, I don't want to laugh now, but you force, okay? So at the beginning, you feel ridiculous, but step by step it will come. And even now, the effect is here, okay? Or you can type on internet stupid laughing, and you will have some, and then it's contagious. So you will start to laugh and so on. 6 minutes a day laughing is excellent for your vibration. It's really important. And also because, you know, life is a kind of joke, okay? Osho, the great, let's say, philosopher, said life as such should be seen as a cosmic joke. And then you relax, because there is nothing to be tense about. And in this very relaxation, something begins to change within you. Okay, so it's really important to laugh a maximum as you can. Key 17, okay, sun bath or light bath. Actually, if you don't have a light, I mean sun, sorry. Initially, I come from north of France, so I didn't see the sun almost all my childhood and till maybe 20 years old. But let's say you can use some light, okay, some a lamp, and you just put like this. Why? Because it's activating your pineal gland, which is, let's say, balancing the, what we call in techniques, the circadian cycles. Circadian cycle is the good sleeping movement, okay? So concretely, the waves of sleeping. Okay, normally you have 4 or 5 depending for each night, okay? But it's allows to have harmonious sleep afterward, and during your sleep you are working a lot with your unconsciousness. So this is extremely important for being in harmony. It's activating one of hormones of happiness, which is serotonin. Okay, serotonin activating, stimulating the pineal gland to improve the circadian cycles. Key 18, nature. It is very important to reconnect to the nature, your true nature. We have been in our modern society completely out of our mind, you know, in the big city full of concretely, it's like trying to do yoga with an armor of middle age. Okay, it's not really comfortable. Okay, and we don't have the vibration. Okay, wood is different, is organic, but the concrete, there is not really energy inside. I mean, there is, but not as much as the ground of the grass and so on. And so we have been disconnected, and unconsciously it's affecting us, definitely. So going back to nature allows you to find back this this good energy. And why? Because when you go alone and you wait and you just listen, there is a natural sound, there is natural calmness, there is, and it brings you, you synchronize your vibration with the outward, with nature, and you soak this peaceful state. Everything is perfect. You see the insects, you see the animals, you see the breath of, let's say, the wind and so on, and actually the colors affecting you, okay? And very quickly, when you empty your mind, you are filled, you are reaching fulfillment, okay, like calmness, and you synchronize this vibration. When you observe a plant, a green one, for example, I tell you a notion of frequencies. This is some hertz, okay, some vibration, and I synchronize with my chakra here. So concretely, it's reactivating my heart, okay, my vibration. That's why we recommend sometimes to do a hug. It's a little bit strange at the beginning, but it's a connection to nature. Hug to a tree, for example, to ask, to thank life in general, to thanks for giving the oxygen and so on, and also to receive the energy. Why not? But it is really important to try to force at the beginning a little bit, and then it will be natural. Okay. To go, for example, once a week in forest with your kids or by your own. Also, it's good to walk a little bit around by your own. Key 19, to have pets. If you really don't like, forget it. But actually, the pets are, you know, this is linked to the unconditional love, okay? They brings you a lot, okay? If you have a cat, for example, you know, when you give a hug or when you feel their, you know, they're purring, you know, purring or humming, you know the sound, it's really calming yourself. And most of the time they are very intuitive and they are going to the chakra you need to be reactivating. Okay, so this is a process of unconditional love first, and also it allows you to be calmer, okay, or when you observe the fish in the aquarium and so on, same, it's calm your mind and so on. It can be a kind of meditation. Meditate just is that as well, it's just to observe things, people and so on, contemplate, open up the inner temple, is that. Key 20 is to smile at life in general, okay, even for you, okay, if you are always like this, but you're not necessarily upset, okay, like this, okay, actually, you are not in harmony, okay, if you relax, this is what we call the face yoga, okay, you relax, for example, you feel it, you feel better after, and so smiling is more a symbol. Smiling at life means that you welcome life and you are grateful. You smile at people, okay, on the street for nothing, okay, for nothing. You will never see them again. But when you smile at someone, most of the time someone replied you and you give some love, some light, and you return, as a return, you have more. And then this is the domino effect. This is the butterfly effect. The more you give, the more you receive and so on. And this is the, you know, the social fabric that we resume everywhere on the planet. This is nothing. You know, there is a wonderful poem from Mother Teresa, the gift of the smile, and well, without quoting it, but completely. But it doesn't cost anything, but it brings so much for you and for those who receive. You see, so it's really tiny things, but it's so crucial, it's so important, smiling at life. And also when you smile at life, life is smiling at you. I told you is a kind of mirroring effect, okay? There is reflection. Most of people say that when we go to the subway, everybody is gloomy. Yeah, but we do as well. we are gloomy as well. So if you start to smile, people will smile. Okay, some people will reject, they will not understand, and so on. They will say, do we know each other? No, it's just for free, you know. And then people will be a little bit maybe shocked that you reply like this with a more beautiful smile and so on. But it's so innocent, it's so nothing, you know. It's very important. I really invite you to do the tests. Key 21, positive people and environment. Avoid energy vampire. What is it concretely? The people, they always attract you, I mean, with their low vibration. I'm not saying reject people in depression and so on, not at all, but depressive people. Sometimes we help people by not helping them. If, in a certain extent, this become a ritual and they unconsciously maintain their low frequencies because they just want a kind of shoulder, okay? And if you become this stick, okay, it's not good for anybody, okay? It's not helping them. All right, so you can help them differently, but let's say punctually, if someone has a bad period for 1 month, it's happened, I don't know, breaking or whatever, but you understand my point. It's not necessarily good to always preserve people, and you just preserve yourself, because you can have a couple of ones like this, but if all your environment is like this, except if you have super high frequencies and so on, but at one moment, with mimicry, you will be affected by this low vibration. So it's good to preserve, also to have some people like this, if you think it's good, I mean, if you like this person like this and so on, and also to have positive people, because it brings you, it is a notion of synergy, and is rise your energy up as well. Key 22 is protection ritual. What is it concretely? Religious or not religious? Religious, you can quote some verse, some mantras and so on of protection, okay, like magic, let's say, word. And the other one is visualization. For example, you visualize a shield of light shield, okay, to protect yourself against bad ideas, bad mood, bad, let's say, negativity from outside. This is important to preserve yourself. When you feel, for example, something aggressive, you can just close your eyes a few seconds and you visualize a bubble of light, for example, is important. Key 23 is very important to preserve yourself from the media. I'm not saying reject all the media, not at all. There are a lot of fake news, and in addition of that, there is real news, but a lot of them, they are selling, in quote mark, breaking news, you know, emotional stuff, let's say more the notion of breaking news, sensational, the buzz and so on. So sometimes they don't check the information and so on, and it's always up and down. You know, for example, now we have coronavirus. Okay, in January it was almost the Third World War with Iran. Okay, so it's really creating anxiety. So, you know, the Sufi Rumi said the art of knowledge is to know what to ignore. This is really important to preserve from that also, because you can see here, maybe it's not a real reality of the news, it's oriented, okay, every country has oriented media, and also because we are always focused on we are highlighting the darkness all the time in the news. We never highlight the light, okay, positive things and so on. You know, there is a balance. There is as much as good things as bad things, but we are always focusing on bad things. So it's generating a bad atmosphere in the world. Anxiety, the fact that the other is a threat, there is a competition, there is, foreigners, migrants and so on, and we create walls and so on. But this is artificial. I mean, I'm not saying that there is no violence, but in a certain extent, we co-create that. We credit this kind of egregor, the cloud of energy regarding that. okay? And the more we are anxious, the more the fear is important, the more there is an impact on you, and so on, vice versa. You see, so on the other way around, when we are positive, when we are convey good messages, good news, and so on, this is the butterfly effect. You know, the butterfly effect is a butterfly creates with his beats a tornado in Europe. We say that a butterfly in Asia creates a tornado in Europe. So it's important to not to reject the media, not at all. It's not what I said, but at least to preserve yourself. It's extremely important. All right. So key 24, harmonious home. Concretely, this is what we call in Chinese feng shui. Feng means the wind, shui means the water. Concretely, this is to have harmonious house. Doesn't mean that you have very, let's say, expensive decoration and so on, furniture, not at all. It should be to let the circulation of the good energy, the qi that we call in Chinese, qi, qigong, reiki, qi is the same, the prana for Hindu and so on, this subtle ether, the fifth element, within your house. You know, your house, your room, if it's messy, your mind will be messy. This is exactly the point. Okay, so there is a resonance in between your house and your mind. So this is important to arrange, to have the decoration that you like, maybe to avoid certain colors. You know, red, it's good for action, for dynamism, but could be also very aggressive. Okay, so to try to know a little bit about that, and to try to ask or to do some studies regarding this point. But this is extremely important to arrange your mind through your house. Good deed. This is very important to transmit, to give. The more you give, the more you receive. And you know, it's creating one of the 5 hormones of happiness. The name is oxytocin. You know what? Is linked normally to sexual ecstasies. Okay, so concretely, when you feel good because you did something good, personally, I'm in charity for maybe 15 years, and once I give time, love and light, honestly, I receive much more by return. You know, here in Bali, I give course of French in an orphanage that we finance. We support financially, and also I give a help for management, organizing events for them, for the kids, and so on, some orientation, organization of plastic recycling, and so on. When I go home, you cannot imagine how full I feel. You know, it's really fulfillment. You understand this sound, the profound meaning of that. I go to sleep and I'm tired, but I'm so happy of that. I'm grateful for the good atmosphere I had, the smile, I've been paid by smile, and so on. And this is amazing. And actually, you know, we said this is in the very beautiful movie Into the Wild, but I wrote something very similar before watching the movie in 2008. Life is real, especially once it is shared. You know, I don't drink alcohol, but apparently you don't drink a bottle of champagne by your own. You share, okay? And this is the sense of life for me, to share things that you have. And once again, it's bring you so much, okay? When you feel useful, most of the people, they have low vibration, and they are anxious. They have anxiety, and they have some fear, they have some depression, because they don't feel important for people. They are disconnected to the other people. You know, I told you I did some charity when I was for 15 years now, and I used to live in Paris at the beginning of my career when I was 23 till 30 years old, before going to Asia. And actually, I used to go 3 times a week. I'm not saying that to have a medal of good guy. No, not at all. Just to share an experience. We used to go to see homeless, okay, on nights, 3 times, with pretext like coffee or tea and so on. And we only did that just at the eye level, okay, on the knees. Just listen to them. You know, when you excluded from the society, they were testifying that the fact that very often people don't smile at them, they don't observe them, they don't look at them because they are afraid about that, okay? And actually what they need, not necessarily money, but time, attention. This is extremely important. So when I mean thereby by good deed, can be not necessarily to be like Mother Teresa and going to, no, is at the extreme of the word. No, is more to be to give a little bit of your time, attention, to take 5-6 minutes to talk with your grandma, neighbor, even if you don't care, but at least she will be happy just to share. Imagine to be alone all your day long, or I don't know, you see someone having a lot of packs and so on, you help, you give a help. I know that a lot of people are doing, it's common sense, but unfortunately still some people don't. So and even when you hold the door, even to someone who don't have the habit to do it, is immediately by mimicrying, this person is doing it. It is the butterfly effect. The more you give, the more you receive, and the more people are inspired by this. This is extremely important for me. Positive dimension, dynamic. The key 26 is the ego. It's a game of personality. It's a game of mask. Ego is for me is play child. Okay, it's a construction for the kids, a game of construction for the kids, and for adults is sometimes a game of destruction. Okay, for adults. All right. So it is. What is the ego concretely? Okay, this is me, here. Concretely, this is the prison, the jail, for which the walls exist because we decided to give one a sense. Okay, so it is all the fears, all what you accept from the society, from your culture, from your education, and you adhere to that, and you create. Like, that's why he's designing by his own, but the limits is only up to you to believe or not. And once you think out of the box, you open up and you just realize that this frontier was just in your mind, you become free. And you free up, you enlarge your perspectives, and is extremely important. Personality in Latin, it comes from persona. Persona means the mask. That's why I put this image, because the mask of the dramaturgia, in Greece, ancient Greece, it was because it was a silent theater. Okay, so an actor was putting the smiley mask to show he's happy or unhappy and so on. Concretely, the personality is the layers of the different cultural dimension, educative and so on. I was born in Middle East. I'm a woman. I had this education. I'm from a poor family and so on. And this affects your mind. I was born in France. I'm from middle class society and so on. So I react like this. So all this is not necessarily the true self, the true Issa, the true Aurélien. It is a construction from the other, and that I accepted, okay? And the true self is your soul. You, let's say naked, without your clothes, without your costumes of the masquerade, okay? The masquerade, in a certain extent, because as Shakespeare talked about this a lot in the metaphors, that we are in a piece of theater, we are acting and so on. And this is really important to detach from this and to try to find back your higher self. The more you try to analyze, okay, I react like this, for example, it's not the case, but I'm jealous because my father was jealous, okay, or he was a little bit machist. and because I reproduce that because I saw him treated my mother. It's not true, it's not a reality, but I take an example because he was treating bad my mother. So I do the same with my girlfriend or my wife and so on. Okay, it's the same thing. So try to understand why you do that or why you act like this and so on. The more you will try to visualize your mask, the less the effect will be on them, and the less power you will give to them, and you will start to laugh about them, and step by step they will disappear. And same for the other ones. It's very interesting. It's like analyzing, in a meeting, you analyze who is the little chief, the little boss, because he has a problem of ego, so he's showing off, me, I do, this kind of profile, because he is small, because he's not really confident, and so on. So he needs to prove to the other people. So this kind of person, or all the kind of profile, this is due to the ego. Sufi philosophy is Rumi, once again, who said, this is a wisdom, Satan, okay, shaitan in Arabic, or Satan in Hebrew. Satan means obstacle, basically, at the beginning, obstacle to the light. Basically, Satan meets someone and he say, if you want to be as me, or to look like me, say a maximum of times me, or I. Okay, you understand? So concretely, the existence of the ego is to separate from the rest. I'm gonna tell you something very important. To exist. The etymology of exist in Latin means to separate. Concretely, we are coming from the big picture, big all, absolute, God, whatever. Okay, we incarnate. Okay, we embody a personality, a scenario of life. And concretely, we are the absolute is the big picture. The big picture is a painting. How do you see? If you are an actor of the big picture, how you see yourself? You cannot. You are obliged. The painter is never like this. He is taking distance from the painting to see, to highlight, or to see in relief the scene. Okay, the big picture is obliged to extract. We need to extract from the big picture, from the painting, to exist. And this is the existence. The basic existence of the ego. So that's why I say it's not to reject the ego, it's a good servant, a bad master. As long as you let him or it at his space, it's fine. Okay, as long as you laugh about sometimes your character and so on, as an actor, is changing radically. And actually, it is not bad, it is just existential. We need to separate from the big consciousness to see individual things and behavior, basically. The key 27, so the 5 last key are more, let's say, philosophical or spiritual. If you don't like squeeze it, please don't reject everything before because of this one. But let's say this key is the common thread of your life. Try to visualize the common thread. There is a common thread. Why, consciously or unconsciously, you choose that? Why life brought you that? And they're here, and then here. And it can be with failure, okay? Failure in quote mark. You suffer because she left you. Okay, but finally then you improve yourself. You went to another country and you develop something, and so on. And then, life. This is when I say the common thread of the living one. This is what the Christian call, as a metaphor, the living is God, basically. But the consciousness, okay? When we are like a tree, a leaf from the tree of life, you are like this, and the wind is the destiny. And then it brings you somewhere, or somewhere, or somewhere, and so on. And then what is interesting is to decipher the subtle messages of the great book of life, which is your common thread. Why you choose that? Personally, I had a passion when I was 17 for Portugal. I learned Portuguese, but Portugal was in the past the father of the discoveries. And then a very important milestone within my life was India. India was discovered by, by the Portuguese. And then China. China has been very important path in my life. I teach as a professor in Suzhou. Suzhou is the basis, the headquarters, the beginning of the Silk Roads. And the Silk Road, I'm crossing it for 15 years, physically and through my work. And actually, the common thread of the Silk Road, and I'm working in textile, actually the Seek Road, seeking, you know, S-E-E-K, okay, like research, quests. And I learned a lot through all this. So it's not a fantasy, it's not I'm crazy, it's just there is a subtle, and when I'm with people, I can try to help them to find their common thread, okay? And you realize that life becomes really magic and amazing. Well, 28 is to visualize life as a puzzle game. What is it? To understand each individual pieces and to be in peace with them, and then to try to put together as a global vision, as a let's say big picture, and to try to understand how harmonious it is at the end. Is this everything is like an ecosystem? Ecosystem means is like so all the species in the nature are important. Okay, all individual people are important. All right, and it's like your watch. Okay, you have different. Sometimes you have a component. Oh, it's useless. I take it away. Yeah, except that your watch is not working anymore. It's the same principle. Okay, there is a kind of ecosystem for everything, every kind of life, because the big picture is the living one. Okay. The 29 key is the reconnection to the presence. What is it? It is a secret. You know, there is Jewish and Arabic legends, so Muslim and Jewish, same philosophy. They say when we are young, baby, we just arrive on earth, there is the kind of angel telling us about all the mysteries, all the enigma, all the secret of life. And is blowing on the face of the kid and doing shh and putting the finger here. Okay, this is what we call Cupidon mark. Cupidon, like the little angel. And actually here is just to remember to remind through your body, that enigma to find back, and to find back this presence. And this presence is outer you, is the consciousness that we call Qi for Qigong, for Taoism in China, Qi, like a key also, Reiki in Japan, Prana for Hindu, Ether for Greek, let's say we could say dark energy or dark matter for scientists. But concretely, this is a force encompassing everything. You know, the first word of the Genesis in Hebrew is Bereshit. Bereshit means the width, like a thread. Okay, a thread. Because the scientists discovered there is a kind of grid surrounding all the planets, surrounding all the universe. And this is a kind of, we are disconnected in our modern society. We are in a hyper-connected society, but disconnected to the basics, which is the missing link. And the missing link, I mean, there is another definition for missing link, is the evolution of Darwinism. I'm not talking about that. I'm more talking about the fact that we are missing this common thread, and we are suffering about it, definitely, unconsciously or consciously. But let's say the presence is extremely important. You know, there is a legend, an Hindu legend, saying that God, Brahma, wanted to hide this secret of reconnection that I baptize U-Y-O-U, universe, or unity. The quest of peace is that, to be in peace, okay, to be in peace, as we say in French, salut, in Arabic, salam, in Hebrew, shalom, in Indonesian, it's salamat, in Farsi, in Iranian language, is salam as well. Anyway, just what we bring is the peace. I bring you the peace. And we are unconsciously always looking for the peace, inner peace, outer peace. peace with your own, what you are concretely, and peace with the world, with your relatives, your family, your colleagues, and the planet as well. But concretely, this unity, the unity within yourself and the universe, when you reactivate the universe within yourself, because as Rumi said, okay, he said, you are not a drop in the ocean, you're the entire ocean within a drop. Keep in mind this is really important. But concretely, so Brahma decided to hide this unity. Okay, so he asked to his subordinate, his assistant, and where are we gonna put it? So some assistants say, oh, we're gonna bury it into very far away in the earth. And Brahma, God, replied, no. One day, driven by the cupidity, they will find a way. They will be motivated to create money, to resell, and so on. So they will find it. Second option, we will put inside the ocean. Brahma said the same. One day they will be driven by the cupidity and they will resell and so on. And the third one proposed to send very far away, light years, in the space. He said the same. So they don't know. They have no clue regarding where to put it. And God, Brahma said, we're gonna put in a space there is no low vibration, the higher vibration possible, in a fortress which will be never threatened by darkness. The light will be always, but they will not find so easily. We're gonna put here into the heart. Keep this in mind. This is a precious treasure that we have within us. The Holy Grail is deep inside us. It is vibrating in our blood. It is in our DNA. It's up to us to reactivate. And last, I wanted to enhance what I said is through Max Planck, the Prime Nobel of Physics in 1918. He said the following: all matter comes from a force and exists only by it. We must assume the existence under this force of a conscious and intelligent spirit. This spirit is the matrix of all matter. Conscious and intelligent spirit. The plant, when they are blossoming, they are growing up, there is a conscious and intelligent spirit, a will beyond of that. We can call it the soul of the word, the consciousness, whatever, the universe, the cosmos. Cosmos is order, whatever, God, whatever. But there is a will, and this is the good news because we are not alone. Concretely, there is a dynamic, and we are linked to that. We are the breath of that, and that's why the Hindu said, try to find the place which is already yours in this cosmic breath. Okay, when you feel that, when you are reconnected to the presence, that's to say, life starts to change. You know, Victor Hugo, a French, an equivalent of Shakespeare, he said the following. So he's just a French writer. He's not a mystic guy, and he said the following: "It's sad thing to realize that nature is talking, but the humankind doesn't listen." Okay, so it means that there is some subtle information that we are not aware about because we are focusing on our tablets, on our mobile, and so on the crazy things of the busy and disease, the disease of the busyness, okay, of modern times. We are always running, rushing, you see? So that's why it's good sometimes to switch off, to take it easy and to contemplate, to observe, to question, and so on. And then to feel this presence. And you feel, and you are fulfilled by this fulfillment. And you never feel alone. You're not alone at all. Not alone, all one. And to give you the last key, but it's not exhaustive, this is to learn to read and to co-write the great book of life. The great book of life. This is a chapter now. This is a moment here, and always, and there is actor, there is scenery, there is stories all the time. But when we feel that, okay, this cosmic breath, actually all the time is magic, basically. And actually you are always smiling because once again you never feel alone. You have some hidden messages every single second, okay? And life becomes magic, I swear to you. I invite you to develop more regarding that dimension, because this is like a miracle. Once you reach this vibration, you reach a certain top of a mountain, eternal mountain, and you feel a big horizon, and you can just marvel at life all the time. Well, as a conclusion, if we consider that there is a conclusion, that's why I put a question mark. Did we succeed? There is a finality. I'm not sure, actually. It's really up to you. But let's say I will quote two persons, and then I will finish by one point. The first one is Nikola Tesla. He said the following: each living being is a motor linked to the driving wheel of the universe. While one might think that each living being is affected only by its direct environment, its external sphere of influence extends to infinity. So you are not limited to that prison of the ego you think, but your sphere of influence is infinite. This is the good news. And the last one is a little bit long, but it's really crucial because it's so important. Within this special period of coronavirus, and also the after coronavirus, because we will have to recreate a new world, more conscious, more fair, based on qualitative growth, with the respect of nature, of people, of everybody, of the difference, and so on. And actually, we can feel that the world is neurotic, the world is not, but we can improve individually and then collectively. I have a lot of projects personally that I'm doing. I wrote a book that I invite you. It's free on YouTube, and also you can download. The name is Coronapocalypse, SOS, Save Our Soul. I invite you to read it in English. I translated, and it's in the progress of translation in different languages, and he's explaining that. And he's starting with Krishnamurti, who say is not a sign of being healthy that to be integrated in a deeply sick society. Okay, concretely, so don't feel bad if you don't feel really attuned to this society, because we need to improve. No need to destroy it, but like, you know, the heritage monument, world heritage, we can take piece by piece just to reinforce the structure and to make it definitely better. But this is based on, first you clean up and you clean and you shape your philosophical stone, and you bring to the big architecture. That's why all the process are always inward, outward. And that's why don't wait for other people. Gandhi said the following: be the change that you want to see in the world. And Rumi said differently: when I was young, I was clever. I wanted to change the world. Now I'm wise and I change myself. You see, he said differently, but it's the same point. But let's see Einstein quote. He said the following: the human being is a part of everything we call the universe, a part which has its limits in time and space. We experience ourselves with our thoughts, our feelings, our perception, as if we were a separate entity, separate from the rest. But this is an optical illusion of consciousness, and this illusion becomes our prison. We are building a reality in which we don't include, through our perception, desires and feelings, that we, the beings and the places with which we are close. Our task as a human being is to free ourselves from the prison, the jail, and to widen our cycle of infinity to include in love and compassion, all beings, nature and the universe in all its beauty. The true value of a human being is measured by the capacity to limit its limits and to live the totality, the infinite value, the limitless being. If humanity wants to survive, a radical new way of being and thinking is necessary. He said, by the way, is resuming exactly what I said before, almost, but he said, we cannot solve the problems with the same mind which is creating them. Okay, so it's important to think out of the box and to design the new world that you would like to have and to start to organize with network, with small community and so on, just locally, your village and so on, your family is at set at the beginning, and then step by step, we're gonna do it. This is what we call the arrival of the new paradigm, because this is not thinking like me, but you reverse me and you obtain we. We think oneness, one thinks. You see what I mean? So this is the future if we want to have a future. Well, the last point will be that try to find your mission and your transmission to be part of the big all, the big world, okay? And for that, and to see the big picture, the puzzle game, as I mentioned before, is to master the different pieces, okay? To master individual pieces of individual subject or whatever, to be in peace with them, okay, within yourself and towards them. And once you master the individual pieces, you masterpiece, actually you will see the big picture and you will admire the masterpiece. And actually the masterpiece will allow you to master peace, shalom, salam, and so on. Here it is, what I could share with you. Thank you for your attention. This is the infinite, okay, path. Wishing you a beautiful, eternal awakening. Thank you and enjoy.